Well, Gina, thank you for the time. This is so fun. Happy to chat with you. I have to say, watching Lost Ollie and watch you obviously mother, knowing what was about to come in your real life, it was so nice. It was like so emotional.
Oh,
Obviously, like this isn't the first time we've seen you as a mom on screen. I am sort of curious though, like, are there things that you were taking from these roles, maybe especially this one because it is so recent, that you might sort of use and feel like might be useful tools as you move forward?
oh, 100%. I mean, the whole experience, especially now in retrospect, because we shot this in February of 2021. Yes, February 2020. So a little bit over a year plus ago. My husband and I were just starting to have conversations of parenting, of being parents and getting into that space. And to look back at being able to play a mother that was so loving and empathetic and kind and really wanted to create a safe space for her child's creativity and inspire and ignite their creativity. I want to be just like that. And
Mm-hmm.
and looking back, I was like, "Oh, I wanted it so bad then." And it was
Mm-hmm.
like that's when like the real excitement, the real feeling of readiness started to occur for me was about a year and a half ago,
Mm-hmm.
where I was like, I'm ready to give over my existence to someone else for
Wow.
real. And to have such a beautiful playground to do that. And Peter Ramsey, our director, is so loving. He's just such a kind human being that creates such a gentle environment. And like you said, I've played moms a bunch, and I
Sure.
have always felt really, and it's not that I've ever judged it, but I've always felt that children should be playing and they should be outside playing and they shouldn't be working. And so when a director like Peter Ramsey creates a space of play, a
Mm-hmm.
space where the child feels like they are quite literally extending their imagination from in their own home onto the set with new people in their lives. And if I can create a safe space for the young boy to feel a motherly connection, like that's all I'm looking to do. And I have to give it up for the moms. The moms helped me so much. The moms of all the boys helped me
Mm-hmm.
create that. And I couldn't have done it without them and Peter and Shannon's beautiful words and all the writers' beautiful words. So it is, and I have a project that my baby gets to see.
Well, I know. I mean, that was sort of one of my next questions. It's like, have you given any thought to like what projects and shows, whether they're your own or otherwise, like what you were going to show your child? Like what TV shows and movies that either you loved as a kid that you can't wait to show them?
Well, for me, it's Fred Rogers. Everything, about Fred Rogers talking about difficult conversations, and he always spoke
Mm,
to children and not down to them. This project to me ignited that same sentiment. When I read those scripts, I was like, oh, this is both Shannon and Peter's, their specific vision for this was to talk to children, not talk down to them, to talk to adults, to ignite that nostalgia in your childhood. And when did our that need and that need and desire for the flesh and the loss of like creativity happen, and how we can
mhm.
reignite that in ourselves now as adults, because we're so about like what's real, what we see, what's the truth. And there's so much magic in the in between, and there's so much truth in the in between. And so I feel like they did such a wonderful job, and I really wanted to be a part of a project that brought that sentiment back to life, that
Yeah.
wasn't afraid to have conversations that are difficult with children.
Well, and there's such a fun element of this idea of like generational parenting in the show,
Mhm.
like the traditions and the pastimes that get passed in between the generations. I'm curious I'm sure that your family has maybe started having some conversations with you about what you've thought about maybe imparting into your child's life that was a part of your childhood. I mean, talk about Mr. Rogers, but I'm talking, thinking about some other traditions that maybe you grew up with, some pastimes that your family holds dear that you're excited, sort of like in the show, to bring into your own life.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely nailed it. We were just having this conversation yesterday because I
There we
have
go.
a mixed cultures in our family
Yeah.
and mixed religions. And there's Christianity, and then there's also Buddhism, and there's also Judaism, and and all the different traditions that are held in those different religions. And how my eldest sister, who converted to Judaism, and her husband, who's Jewish, they do Shabbat on, and
Mm,
they really do it like no electronics for the weekend, and all family time, and all like togetherness, and the dinner, and they do the songs and the walking around the table, and we get to be a part
yeah.
of that. And I didn't necessarily grow up with those traditions, and now to see them imprinted in my nieces and nephews' lives, and how important and how incredible it brings the family together, and how
Mhm.
me and my husband can really be influenced by that experience, because we participate with them, how we can create our own tradition. My parents growing up, it was like we all had dinner together. We always had dinner together. Dinner time was our
Mhm.
time. And I mean, I'm older, so we didn't have electronics. We didn't have like
Yeah,
cell
right.
phones at the dinner table. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
know.
so how do we keep that going? How do we make it so that our children are excited to talk to us during dinner time and tell us what's going on in their life, and create a very brave space for them to feel like they don't need to be stuck to a TV or a phone? And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because they're
Sure.
growing in a different culture, but how do we, really imprint those traditions that I had as a child, that my partner had as a child, and that we're learning from my siblings who practice other religions. And
Mhm.
and so how do we pull those all together, and create our own special traditions with our family, and something new
Yeah,
that really makes sense to me and my partner? And that's kind of all the conversations we've been having, and it's kind of
I know
cool.
that. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, what cool conversations to be having. What an exciting time for you. Congratulations. I mean, on the
Thank you.
project and then what's going on in your own life. Just what an exciting
Thank
time.
you.
Congrats. And
I really
thanks for your
appreciate that.
time.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Daniel.
Thank
Great to
you,
talk to
Gina.
you.